This is FNGR, and today we're doing a request. Ponyville Critic has asked me to give critical feedback that might potentially improve his overall product. I've glanced through his video, and after watching it, I have no idea what your mission statement is.
Creates unrealistic expectations in the person's mind, and the higher the expectations go, the more chance someone has of being disappointed.
I would have included examples on when you haven't. Obviously, I can't tell you when or what those are. Your personal experiences are what they are.
Best episodes.
You used this GIF a lot. Was this really something your audience would want to see more than once? The spoiler warning. Seriously, it's not as if we can't see some reviews or analysts that don't invoice spoilers, but in the world of MLP and covering core content that's 22 minutes, it's pretty understood you're getting into spoiler territory. Your video has the title, Crusaders of the Lost Mark. If anything, I would have included spoilers in the tag if you absolutely needed it to be there.
It's unrealistic expectations in the person's mind, and the higher the expectations go, the more chance someone has of being disappointed.
I would have just included examples of when you haven't. Obviously, I can't tell you when or what those are, as your personal experiences are your own.
I'm very interested in the concept of the cutie mark.
Monotone can work. This is Demo D.
Abunai Sisters is the worst. Torture. Is it called Abunai Sisters? Why not Danger Onechans? Why not Anne Frank and the Mystery of the Pilfered Breadcrumbs? At least then you could pretend there's a plot. Maybe Production IG didn't plan for this show to have a plot. Attractive. Before. Demo, you're a hypocrite. How can you shun these attempts at titillation while condoning others? First of all, yes, I am a hypocrite, and at least this somewhat resembles the female figure, and thus triggers my carnal desires. These are more reminiscent of a gumball machine with balloons tied around the base.
You're going to have to find a way to be more prolific if you don't intend to expand on your emotional range. You're going to have to dig deeper.
What about it did I actually like? Well, I'm glad you asked, but please get out of my house.
You're asserting what you like as an authority, and I'm going to forego the snark of saying, who the fuck are you? But seriously, let's pretend I'm a casual fan clicking on your MLP analysis video. How am I supposed to know you? Do your friends even know what you like? I would have taken the time to compare and contrast to show the things that didn't work with the things that did. Contrast the current product against either or both of those things. It gives your audience a moment to get a vibe for your tastes and to judge, hey, this content creator is or isn't for me. You have a 4-minute review where you could have easily tacked on 1 to 2 minutes minimal, showing just, for example, why you might contrast Fight to the Finish or Showstoppers versus Crusaders of the Lost Mark. In the past, I've shared my thoughts on showing an emotional connection with the audience. After seeing your video, I don't know what connection I'm supposed to have with Ponyville Critic. I heard what you said, but I didn't feel it.
Episodes throughout the season, and was predicted to keep up his winning streak throughout Season 5. So I have to ask, what the fuck happened here?
Instantly, I feel a level of disdain, a great emotional range, from this random reviewer. British Ninja has an ebb and flow, from positive to negative, and to referencing the past.
Truly at a loss for words. Polsky's triumphant entrance to Season 5 is as bad as, well, his entrance to Season 4.
Also, the name drop in the intro, I would spruce this up somehow. I mean, even a snapshot from whatever episode you're reviewing that day would help a lot.
Crusaders finally acquiring their marks.
Now, this is just a personal view. Of course the CMC got their marks. Leaning forward with the most common talking points about these things, which is very simple and plain language, is only ever going to please your most steadfast of followers. Why do you care? Tell me why you're invested.
That her friends are avoiding her party, so we become suspicious of them even before she does. It's because of this that we totally understand Pinky's feelings and how she will eventually go off the deep end. Even though we empathize with what we see as desperation on the part of Pinky's friends, we empathize even more with Pinky because we hate to be lied to and abandoned by our friends as well.
Hell, I don't even know which of the CMC is your favorite. That's a starting point to add more depth to give the audience more to identify with you.
And the impact it has on society whenever there's a cutie mark related story. So I was very excited that this episode had some meaningful commentary on the subject.
You dropped this topic way too soon. If you're going to hop around, I would have included, let's put a pin in that for right now, and don't worry, we'll get back to that. Instead of looking unorganized, you're more likely to keep your audience in suspense, and that there's a payoff later.
Reputation as a property/business owner, her mother is almost the exact same way, not to mention a massive racist.
You either really need a clip here or at least a still image summarizing what happens. It feels a little vague.
Diamond Tiara's competition in this episode. Honestly, I think it would have provided a more effective conflict if Silver Spoon ran as the president instead.
Ah, see that? We have an example. This is the strongest point in your whole video, suggesting that Silver Spoons could have been in a more active role. But it doesn't address how Silver Spoons wouldn't have been able to financially fix the problem later, whereas Pip was broken, we could assume Silver isn't.
Silver Spoon strikes me as the type of submissive personality that only takes so much abuse before they snap.
Again, I would have liked to add some examples about what you're talking about, whether it would have been books, movies, other cartoons, fan fiction, etc. Again, make me care about Ponyville Critic. Saying you don't really care about that at best makes you look oafish, apathetic, close-minded.
I mean, what would you rather have? A 2-minute song or 2 minutes of exposition?
How about show don't tell? Even if there wasn't enough time for this in the episode, then you would have had a good point to include in valid criticism.
Fantastic idea to finally have the Crusaders earn their cutie marks.
Why? How long has it been? Sure, we can all look that up. Yes, it's a Season 1 theme, but I shouldn't have to learn that there.
I also thought that the redemption of Diamond Tiara's character, while sudden, was a pretty great idea.
Why? For fuck Jiminy Christmas, why?
Pretty great idea. This episode was one of my favourite of the season, and has renewed my trust in the writers of this show.
Why? This would have been a perfect time to recap your points in summation. If you didn't have strong enough points, then you needed to kind of start over right here. For a good example of this, check out most of the videos from Voice of Reason.
Alright, let's recap. The story is well thought out and doesn't use any of Season 2 Williams tropes. Fluttershy and Applejack were utilized well in this episode. Music and animation fit the tone of the plot. It was genuinely entertaining, and it executed two morals in the same episode well.
If you didn't have strong enough points, then you needed to start over. Again, your big high point was suggesting more inclusion to the story with Silver Spoons, and even having a practical means to include her. You want to stand out more? I would have made the whole video on how the Crusaders of the Lost Mark would have been better with more Silver Spoons. It would have taken a lot more creativity, but no one else would have had that product. I could have turned around to Pass and Alice and said, Pasta, have you seen PVC's great idea on Silver Spoons? I could have possibly linked to Tommy Oliver, and Lord knows, he might have even watched it. It would have taken a lot of creativity, but no one else would have had that product. You would have had some neat ideas and uses for Diamond TR that didn't see the light of the day in the actual episode. The only channel I would have been able to see that is on Ponyville Critic's channel. That's what I would have done if I was Ponyville Critic. Thank you.